A strange reward. The room was quiet. Too quiet. Commander Rain stood alone in the center of a large, round hall. Bright lights above made everything look clean and white. Around him sat 5 tall alien leaders, their faces hidden behind glowing masks. This was not Earth. This was the council planet of the Turalis Union, a group of powerful alien species. Rain had saved one of their cities during the last war. He had used quick thinking, brave action, and some human-style risk that no one expected. The war was over now. Rain thought they called him here to thank him. But something felt strange. One of the council members stood up. His voice came through a machine, cold and deep. You have done what no human has done before. You saved over 9,000 lives, the alien said. As a reward, we give you this. The wall behind Rain opened. 2 guards stepped forward, pulling something behind them. It was in a cage. Rain turned and looked inside the cage. Was a small creature, no taller than a child. Thin arms, gray skin, large black eyes that almost glowed. A metal collar was tight around its neck. It looked weak. It looked scared. What is this? Rain asked, confused. A pet. Another council voice replied. From the planet Viren, very rare. Very loyal. It will serve you well. Rain looked at the creature again. It didn't look like a pet. It didn't bark. It didn't growl. It didn't act wild or trained. Instead, it stared at him right into his eyes. Something inside Rain moved. He stepped closer to the cage. The creature backed away, pressing itself into the corner. Its hands trembled. Rain noticed the collar had blinking lights. It looked more like a control device than a pet tag. You're giving me a living being? He asked slowly. Yes, the council replied together. It is a reward. Rain didn't like this. He had seen alien pets before. They were loud, colorful, playful. This one was quiet. Too quiet. Its eyes followed him with a look he couldn't understand. Fear, maybe, or something more. Does it have a name? Rain asked. No, pets do not need names, a voice replied. Rain frowned. He knelt down near the cage. Hey, he said, softly. Can you understand me? The creature blinked, then nodded. Very slowly. Rain's heart beat faster. It understood English. That meant it was intelligent. But before he could say anything more, the guards locked the cage shut again and pushed it beside him. Take it to your ship, the council leader said. May it serve you well. Rain gave a polite nod. Thank you, he said. But inside, he felt cold. The ride back to his ship was silent. The creature sat curled in the corner of the cage. Rain tried to talk to it again. Can you speak? He asked. No answer. You're safe now. I'm not going to hurt you. The creature slowly turned its head. Its voice was small. So soft, he almost didn't hear it. Cold, it whispered. Rain looked at the temperature. It was fine for humans, maybe not for it. He gave it a heat blanket. The creature held the blanket with thin fingers and looked at him again. You have a name? Rain asked. It opened its mouth, but then looked away, scared. Back in his ship, Rain placed the cage in his private room. He didn't want anyone else to see it yet. Something was not right. He sat near the cage and opened a meal pack. He placed some food near the bars. The creature slowly moved forward. It sniffed the food, then looked at him. Rain didn't move. After a long pause, it reached out and took the food. It ate carefully, quietly. Then, it said something. One word, soft, clear in English. Help. Rain froze. He stared at the creature. What did you say? The creature looked afraid. It pulled back into the shadows. Rain leaned closer. Did you just say help? No answer. Only the sound of breathing. But that one word stayed in his mind, over and over again. That night, Rain couldn't sleep. He sat in the dark, watching the cage. The creature was awake too. Its glowing eyes looked sad, tired, trapped. Rain whispered, "Who are you?" The creature said nothing, but its eyes told a story. It wasn't just a pet, it wasn't a reward, it was a prisoner, and someone had to do something. Commander Rain woke up to a soft sound. It wasn't the alarm. It wasn't the engine. It was breathing, close, careful, almost afraid. He turned on the soft light in his room. The alien creature was sitting upright inside the cage, its hands wrapped around its knees. Its glowing black eyes watched him silently. There was something strange in its expression, not anger, not fear. It looked curious. Rain sat up slowly. You're awake, he said. The creature didn't move. It stayed still, like a statue. The collar around its neck blinked again. soft blue lights flashing in a rhythm. Rain had studied many alien devices. This one was clearly for control, not decoration. He picked up a bottle of water and held it near the bars. Here, you must be thirsty. The creature looked at it, then at him. Slowly, it reached forward. Its hand shook a little as it took the bottle. Thank you, it whispered. Rain froze. The voice was quiet, but clear, and it was English. You can speak, he said. The creature quickly moved back. It hugged the bottle tightly. Not speak much, it said carefully, as if choosing each word like a fragile glass. But you understand me? Rain asked. It nodded. He stepped closer to the cage, slowly showing open hands. What's your name? The creature hesitated. Then said Lena. Rain was surprised. That's a beautiful name. The creature Lena blinked. It seemed unsure how to respond. You're not a pet, are you? Rain said softly. No, Lena said. I am Viren. Rain remembered that word. The council said the creature was from the planet Viren, but they never called it by its real name. They only said pet. Lena, why did they put that collar on you? He asked. She looked down. Her small fingers touched the metal collar gently, like someone touching an old scar. The collar makes pain. If I use powers, it stops. Mind voice. Rain asked. In my people, we speak without words, Lena explained, but collar blocks it. Hurts if try. Rain's jaw tightened. The collar was not just to control her. It was to silence her. He stood up and walked in circles, thinking, they gave you to me as a reward. But they didn't tell me you were alive, that you could think. They lied. Lena stayed quiet. Rain sat down again. How long have you been in that cage? Lena stared at the wall for a long moment. Then she held up one hand. 3 fingers. 3 moons. Maybe more. Time is hard here. Rain understood. She had been a prisoner for months. He sighed. I don't want a pet, Lena. I never did. I want to help you. She looked at him, eyes wide. Help means danger. For you, I don't care, he replied. Lena touched the bars gently. You are not like others. I'm human, Rain said. Maybe that makes me different. Then, without warning, Lena reached through the bars and gently touched his hand. It was a small touch. Not strong. Not tight, but warm. Real. I remember human stories, she said. Kind, brave, full of heart. Rain smiled. Some of us. Lena's voice lowered. I miss my home. What was it like? Rain asked. She closed her eyes. Green skies, crystal lakes, songs in the wind. We lived in peace. Until war came. Big ships. Noise. Fire. They said we were dangerous, so they took us. Rain sat in silence. His own world had known war too. He could feel her pain, even without mine. Do you have family? He asked. Lena opened her eyes. A sister, maybe alive. I don't know. Rain looked at the collar again. I want to remove this, but I don't know how yet. If you try and fail, it will hurt me badly. He nodded. Then I'll be careful. Suddenly, a voice came from his ship's comm system. Commander Rain, are you awake? Council requests a report in 1 hour. He pressed a button. Understood. We'll report soon. The voice ended. Rain turned back to Lena. I have to meet them, but I won't tell them about you speaking. Lena nodded. Thank you, Rain. As he got ready to leave, she said one last thing. You saw me, not the cage. That is rare. He paused at the door. You're not a thing to keep. You're someone to free. Then he left. Back in the council hall, Rain stood again before the alien leaders. How is your reward? One of them asked. Rain smiled, very quiet. But, interesting. Good, the leader replied. It will obey you soon. Rain said nothing. Inside, his mind raced. I need to free her. But I have to be smart. The game had begun, and Rain was ready to play. Commander Rain sat in his ship's control room, staring at the glowing stars outside the window, but his mind was somewhere else. It kept going back to the voice. The soft voice that had said, thank you, Rain. Not from a soldier. Not from a council leader, but from Lena, the so-called pet. She was not a pet, she was a prisoner. And that collar. It was not just for show. He stood up and walked back to his private room. Lena was awake, sitting with her legs crossed. Her eyes followed him as he entered. There was trust there now, a little more than yesterday. But still, behind that trust, was fear. The kind of fear that doesn't leave easily. Rain sat down beside the cage. I need to know what they did to you, he said gently. Lena didn't answer at first. Then, in a quiet voice, she said, they took my power. The collar, it burns inside my head When I try to speak with my mind. My people. We speak without sound. Feelings. Pictures. Songs in the air. Rain looked closely at the collar. It had no buttons, no marks, only small blinking lights. Alien technology. Very advanced. Can you take it off? He asked. Lena shook her head. Only with the key. Hidden. Locked by the council. Then I need to find that key, he said. Lena grabbed the cage bars. No. If they find out, they will hurt you too. Or worse. Rain gave a small smile. They gave you to me, remember? That means you're my responsibility now. You say that, she whispered. But many said the same. And walked away. I won't. Later, while Lena rested, Rain walked to the ship's data room. He accessed the council archives using his clearance code. These weren't public records. He had to be careful. He typed the name of Lena's planet, Viron. Many documents appeared. Some were reports. Others were hidden behind warning signs. Classified, level 7. He opened one. It was a video file. The screen showed Viron. A beautiful world. Green skies. Clear water. Strange floating trees. Peaceful people walked through glowing fields, communicating without speaking. Then came the attack. Black ships filled the sky. Explosions, screams, fires burned the forests. A voice spoke over the video. The Viron race has high psychic ability. They pose a future threat. Capture and control is necessary for long-term safety. Rain's hands tightened into fists. They weren't attacked because they were dangerous. They were attacked because they were different. Another file explained the collar. Firing control device blocks mental communication, suppresses energy flow, causes pain upon resistance. This wasn't a pet collar, it was a slave chain. Back in the room, Lena opened her eyes as Rain entered. She could tell something was different. You saw it, she said. Yes, he replied. Everything. What they did to your world. Why they fear your people. We never attacked them, Lena said. We only wanted peace. I believe you. Rain sat beside her. Cage. He felt angry, not just at the council, but at himself, for not knowing sooner. Lena, he said, do you still feel your powers? Even with the collar? She nodded weakly. Yes, but they are small, like a whisper in a storm. Can you use them? If I remove the collar? She looked scared. If I use them too fast, it could hurt me, or others. Rain nodded slowly. Then we won't rush, but I need to find a way to free you. The next day, Rain visited the alien markets near the council tower. Hidden between bright shops and strange foods, he found a trader selling special tools. A quiet old alien with 4 eyes and a coat full of hidden gadgets. Rain leaned in. I'm looking for something ... very rare. A Viron collar key. The trader's eyes narrowed. Dangerous item. Human. Illegal. I'll pay anything, Rain said. Just tell me if you have it. The trader stared at him for a long time, then slowly pulled out a small cube. It glowed purple. One-time use. You break law. Not me. Rain handed over a pouch of credits. I'll take it. Back. On the ship, he returned to Lena's cage. I found something, he said. He showed her the cube. Her eyes widened in fear and hope. That can open it. Maybe. Or at least, disable it. She backed into the corner. If it's wrong, it will burn my mind. Rain looked at her gently. I won't use it unless you say yes. She took a deep breath, then nodded. Yes. Rain activated the cube. It blinked once. Twice. Then the collar's lights flickered. A soft sound, like wind through glass, filled the room. Then silence. Lena slowly touched her neck. The collar didn't. Hurt. She looked at Rain, eyes wide, shaking. I can feel again, she said, tears filling her eyes. The storm is gone. Rain opened the cage. She didn't run. She stepped out slowly. Then, without a word, she hugged him. Lena's arms wrapped around Commander Rain's chest, light and trembling. She was small, but her hug felt full of fear, full of hope, full of something long forgotten. Freedom. She pulled back slowly, her black eyes shining. I feel like myself again, she said in a soft voice. After so long, Rain nodded, still holding the deactivated collar in his hand. You're free now, Lena. No more cage, no more control. She touched her neck. The skin underneath was red, marked by weeks, maybe months, of pain. But her hands didn't shake anymore. Rain stood and reached for a nearby blanket. You should rest. We need to plan. They'll come asking about you. Lena tilted her head. You don't have to protect me. Yes, I do, Rain said. You're not just someone I rescued. You're someone they want to keep broken. I won't let them. Lena sat down on the small cot in the corner of Rain's room. She was still quiet, still unsure of this new life. She had spent so long inside that cage, she didn't know how to move freely anymore. Rain watched her for a moment. Then he turned to the ship's console and locked the doors. Later that evening, Rain sat with Lena and showed her a map of the nearby systems. We can't go back to Earth yet, he explained. They'll follow us. They'll know what I did. What will they do to you? She asked. Take my rank. Maybe worse, he said simply. Lena looked down. I don't want you to lose everything because of me. Rain shook his head. I'm not losing anything. I'm doing what's right. Silence filled the room. Then Lena whispered, I want to find my people. If even one is alive, I need to know. Rain pointed to a star cluster near the edge of council space. There are rumors of Viren survivors hiding out there. If we're lucky, they may still be alive. Lena's face lit up, even if just for a second. The next day, Rain acted normal. He walked through the council station, nodded at the guards, filed his daily report. But inside, he was planning. Back in his ship, Lena stayed hidden behind a false panel. She was safe, for now. But Rain knew that wouldn't last. That night, while Lena slept peacefully for the first time in weeks, Rain opened a private message from a contact, a smuggler named Doro, who owed him a favor. Need quiet exit. 1. Ship, 2 passengers. No questions. Doro replied within minutes. Dangerous. Human, but I like danger. Dock in Bay 9 tomorrow. Midnight. Rain closed the screen and leaned back. They were going to run at midnight. Everything was ready. Lena stood in a long cloak, the hood over her head. She looked nervous but calm. Stronger than before. Rain gave her a small communication pin. Keep this in your ear. If we get separated, I'll guide you. She nodded. They moved quietly through the back halls of the spaceport. No guards. No alarms. Not yet. Then as they reached Dock 9, a red light flashed on the wall. Unauthorized signal detected. Rain cursed. They're tracking the ship. Lena looked around. I can help. What do you mean? She closed her eyes. Her body relaxed. A soft pulse, like a wave of sound, spread out from her. The lights flickered, then dimmed. The alarm shut off. Rain stared. You did that. She opened her eyes. A small push. I'm still learning. Remind me never to get on your bad side, he said with a half smile. They rushed into the docking bay. Doro's ship was already warming up. The smuggler, a lizard-like alien with a cigar in his mouth, waved him in. You bring trouble, Rain. I like it. Rain grinned. Just fly. The ship launched. Council fighters appeared on radar too. Late, they were gone. Rain and Lena sat side by side, watching the stars rush past. You're free, he said quietly. Lena turned to him. I'm not just free, I'm alive again. Then, without warning, she did it again, that small, simple hug. But this time, it wasn't a hug of fear or thanks. It was one of friendship, of trust. Rain closed his eyes and let it happen. Back, on the council station, the leaders stood around a glowing table. The human has taken the Viren, yes, and removed the collar. This was a mistake. They are bonding. Another voice added, cold and sharp. Then end the bond. Before it spreads, the room turned dark. Plans were already starting. Doro's ship, the Black Needle, flew through the edge of council space, dark and silent. It was built for smuggling. No big engines. No flashing lights. Just shadows and speed. Rain sat beside Lena in the ship's hold. The walls were cold, metal, but her presence made the space feel less empty. She looked stronger now. The collar was gone. Her shoulders no longer drooped. Her eyes no longer hid. But she still wasn't free. Not truly. They'll come after us, Rain said, checking a hidden scanner. They won't stop. Lena nodded. The council fears what I am. Rain looked at her. What are you, Lena? You've never told me everything. She hesitated. Then she said, we don't fight with weapons. We feel, we shape. Viren can connect minds, calm hearts, share thoughts. And in danger, we can push. Push what? He asked. Anything, she whispered. Machines. Emotions. Fire. Rain whistled softly. No wonder they locked your people away. Lena looked down. We never used it to hurt, but fear makes cruel choices. In the cockpit, Doro grunted. We've got company. Rain rushed in. How close? Doro pointed at the screen. To council patrol ships. Fast armed. They found us, Doro said. They must have planted a trace. I told you this was hot. Rain clenched his jaw. Can we outrun them? Not in this junker, Doro replied. But we can outsmart them. Rain leaned in. I'm listening. 30 minutes later, Doro dropped the ship into the orbit of a small moon. It had a broken surface, rocks, caves, nothing alive. They landed near a canyon wall. Doro opened the ramp. You've got 10 minutes. I'll draw the patrol away. You take the escape pod down the tunnel. There's a relay station on the other side. Signal me from there. Rain grabbed his pack. What about you? Doro grinned. Don't worry, I've escaped worse than this. He saluted with 2 fingers, then took off. The patrol followed. Rain turned to Lena. Time to run. They climbed through the cave, guided only by a faint light from Lena's hand. Her energy glowed soft blue, enough to light the path, but not alert sensors. Rain kept checking the map. This tunnel should lead to an old mining shaft. From there, a relay point. If we can send a false signal. Lena finished his sentence. They'll chase the wrong trail. Rain smiled. You're learning fast. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the cave. Rocks fell from the ceiling. Rain grabbed Lena and pulled her behind. A boulder. 2 figures dropped from the shadows. Black armored council hunters. Silent. Deadly. Rain whispered. How did they get here so fast? Lena whispered back. They didn't track us. They tracked me. She looked at her hands. They planted something inside the collar. Rain's eyes went wide, even after it was disabled. He looked at her. Can you stop it? She closed her eyes. Her fingers touched her chest. Then she gasped. Too deep. It's not just a device. It's inside my blood. Rain made a choice. Run to the relay. I'll hold them. Lena shook her head. No. Rain stood. You have to. You're the hope now. But before he could say more, Lena stepped out from behind the rock. She raised both hands. The hunters froze. Their weapons shook in their hands. Rain watched in awe as Lena's eyes began to glow. Not bright, not blinding, but calm. Focused They wasn't attacking them. She was feeling them. The hunters began to tremble. Then they lowered their weapons. One of them, a tall creature with green skin, dropped to one knee. I remember you, he said. From Aaron, before the war. Lena nodded. You had a name. The hunter whispered Tyrion. You spared my sister, Lena said. And they punished you. He bowed his head. They made me forget. Lena stepped closer and placed her hand on his helmet. Rain couldn't hear what passed between them. No words. Just silence. But the second hunter turned and fled. Tyron dropped his weapon and said, Go. I'll tell them you're dead. Rain didn't ask why. He just said, Thank you. Minutes later, they reached the relay station. Rain sent out a false transmission, placing them 2 star systems away. He turned to Lena. That should keep them busy for a while. She nodded, then looked at him with tired eyes. I didn't. No, I could still do that, she said softly. You didn't hurt them, Rain said. You changed them. Lena sat on a crate. What if I could do that to all of them? Rain raised an eyebrow. You'd make enemies into allies. Maybe, she whispered. Or maybe, I'd remind them what peace feels like. Back on the council ship, an officer reported to the Supreme Voice. We lost them dead. Unknown. But one of our hunters switched sides. The Supreme Voice turned away. It has begun, he said. The Viren is waking up. The stars outside the ship looked peaceful. But inside, Commander Rain was anything but calm. He sat at the edge of the bed, his fingers gripping the fabric of his jacket. His thoughts raced. The relay signal had worked for now. The council believed he and Lena were heading toward the far edge of the galaxy. In truth, they were hiding just beyond a dying red star, in a quiet debris field. Lena stood across the room, barefoot, her cloak folded neatly beside her. Her skin had gained a healthier tone. Her voice was steadier. But something still hung heavy in the air. They won't stop, Rain said. They'll keep hunting you. Because I'm dangerous. Lena replied quietly. Rain looked up. No, because they're afraid. She shook her head. I am dangerous, Rain. You saw what I did to that hunter. I didn't touch him. But I changed something in his mind. I don't even know how. But you didn't hurt him, Rain replied. You gave him his memory back. You gave him himself. Lena sat down beside him. What if I lose control one day? What if the fear they see in me becomes real? Rain turned toward her. That's not who you are. Silence. Then she whispered, that's not who I want to be. Later, Rain accessed a private channel and sent a coded message to his old mentor, Admiral Soren, a high-ranking human diplomat, still trusted by the council. Need a meeting. Neutral ground. Truth must be told. Bring only who you trust. An answer came an hour later. One location. No soldiers. No lies. Come alone. The meeting place was an abandoned council temple on a moon long forgotten. Once a place of peace, now just cracked stone and broken statues. Rain arrived first. He wore civilian clothes. No weapons. Lena waited on the ship, hidden behind a cloaking field. She didn't argue. She trusted him now. But he carried her words in his heart. What if they only see a threat? Footsteps echoed in the temple. Soren walked in. Older, slower, but pied. Two others followed, a human science officer, and a quiet alien with blue skin and a gold robe. Rain, Soren said, you're a hard man to find. Rain didn't smile. I had a reason. You freed a Viren, Soren said. That's treason, according to the council. She's not a weapon, Rain replied. She's a person. Her name is Lena, and she saved my life. The others said nothing. Rain placed a small holodisc on the stone floor. It lit up, showing images. Lena in the cage. The collar. Council documents. Hidden reports from Viren's invasion. This was never about safety, Rain said. It was about control. The blue-skinned alien stepped forward. I've seen these files. The council erased entire Viren colonies. Children. Elders. All because of fear. Rain nodded. Lena has the power to connect. She could start peace, but they'd rather silence her forever. Soren sighed. You risked everything for her. She risked herself for me, Rain said. And she's still willing to try. Peace. Even now. The science officer finally spoke. Then maybe it's time the galaxy heard her. An hour later, back on the ship, Lena stood before a small camera in the cargo hold. Her hands shook slightly. Rain stood beside her. You don't have to do this. She looked up. Yes, I do. The recording began. Lena spoke in a soft, calm voice. My name is Lena of Viren. I was taken from my home. Silenced, called a pet, a threat, a thing to own. She paused. Her eyes met the lens. But I am not a weapon. I am not a slave. I am someone who remembers songs, and colors, and dreams. I do not want war. I want truth. Rain stepped into the frame beside her. And I'm Commander Rain, of Earth. I stand with Lena, because humanity stands for choice. And this is hers. The message was sent, encrypted, spread across back channels. Old networks, hidden corners of the galaxy. Not loud, but loud enough. On the council station, the Supreme Voice watched the broadcast with cold eyes. They call her peaceful, one elder said. But what if she's just clever? Another added, the people will listen. Some already question our orders. The Supreme Voice stood. Then we remind them of fear. We remind them why Viren was chained. A soldier entered. We've found their location. Orders. Send the purge. The Supreme Voice said. That night, Rain sat on the ship's wing, staring at the stars. Lena joined him, wrapped in a soft blanket. They're coming, aren't they? She asked. Yes, he said. But this time, we won't run. She looked at him. You're ready to fight? He shook his head. I'm ready to stand. Lena smiled, just a little. Then so am I. The stars didn't blink, but something had changed in the universe. The truth was out, and truth doesn't fade. The sky above the ruined moon turned blood red as the enemy ships arrived. Rain stood at the edge of the landing platform. His boots pressed against cracked stone. Beside him stood Lena, her cloak blowing in the wind, eyes steady. Behind them, an old tower hummed quietly, the only working structure on the moon. Inside was the broadcast signal they had used to speak the truth. Now, the council wanted to erase that truth. Rain held a small pulse pistol, but he knew it wouldn't change much. Dozens of soldiers were coming. Ships filled with guns, fear, and orders. We still have time to run, he said quietly. Lena shook her head. We told them we wouldn't hide anymore. Rain looked at her, the faint glow in her eyes, the calm strength in her voice. She was no longer the quiet creature. In the cage, she was something more now, a symbol, a beginning. Council ships landed in a circle. Troops stepped out, armed, ready. A commander with a silver helmet walked to the front, speaking through a speaker. Return the Viren. Lower your weapons. The human will be judged for treason. The creature will be destroyed. Lena stepped forward. I am not a creature, she said, her voice clear and soft, but strong enough to carry in the wind. I have a name. I have a people. And I am not alone. The commander raised a hand. Enough. Rain pointed his pistol at the sky. You want a war? You'll have to go through both of us. The commander gave a signal. Troops aimed. Rain held his breath. And then, nothing happened. From the ridge above, a small ship descended. It looked old, broken, patched together from scraps. But when its ramp lowered, dozens of Virans stepped out. Some old, some young. All with glowing eyes. Lena gasped. Silva, she whispered. Her sister, taller, stronger, with a deep scar across her neck, ran toward her. The two hugged tightly, tears falling without shame. The troops hesitated. Then, more ships appeared. Not from the council, from other planets, from free stations, from places the council didn't control. People had heard the broadcast, and they had come to stand, to witness, to choose. The council commander shouted, "This is a legal gathering. Disperse now, or face." He stopped. Lena had walked straight up to him. She didn't touch him, but she looked right into his eyes. And then, she reached out her arms and hugged him. The entire battlefield froze. The commander didn't move at first. Then, his shoulders dropped. His weapon fell from his hand. He didn't speak, but his breathing changed. When Lena let go, his eyes were wet. I don't understand, he said. You don't have to, she whispered. You just have to feel it. He turned and walked away. Then, slowly, one by one, the other soldiers lowered their weapons. No shots fired. No war. Just silence. And something. New. Rain looked around, speechless. You did it. Lena turned to him. No, we did it. He stepped forward. They were ready to kill you. All of us. And they didn't, she said. Because sometimes, one moment of kindness is louder than 1,000 threats. Rain gave a small laugh. I never thought a hug could stop an army. Lena smiled. That's because humans are used to fighting. My people, remember feeling. He looked around. Viren were hugging humans, aliens, even council soldiers. People were talking, crying, listening. Something was happening. Something real. A week later, the council broadcast a new message. The Viren are no longer enemies. They are recognized as a sovereign, peaceful race. All collars are to be destroyed. All cages opened. In the same breath, they announced, Commander Rain has been cleared of all charges. He will serve as ambassador between Viren and the Union. Rain stood in a new uniform, simple and clean, on a peaceful world filled with grass and sky. Lena stood beside him. Her eyes glowed brighter now, not from power, but from joy. She held a small crystal in her hand. It sang quietly, a song of her people. Children laughed nearby. No cages, no collars, only light. At the end of the ceremony, Lena turned to Rain and hugged him again, just like she had the day he freed her. This hug was different though, not a hug of fear. Not of survival, but of deep, true friendship. Rain closed his eyes and smiled. They gave me a pet, he whispered. Lena laughed softly. And you found a friend.